This is Bob Barbas, just doing God's work.
Dante, get out of there! You're in danger!
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Vergil's Downfall, Vergil Must Die difficulty video walkthrough. This is mission 2, and I'm not entirely sure what this mission's called, but I think it's called the Hollow, or Hollow. And at the very beginning, you're going to be tested with your combat, and you should, I think, get a devil arm if it's your first playthrough on this section. And I still don't have my notifications off, so I must have been fucking blind when I was playing this, but there goes Smashing Yeti, shout out to him. Ruins the professionalism, but, you know, sometimes it can't be helped. I'm only human, guys, I do make mistakes. So, in the previous video I mentioned there's only one boss. I mentioned that the Ragers do not come in elemental form, so they're all pretty fun to fight. And I also mentioned there's no dreamrunners. When you play this on the earlier difficulties, you're not going to run into too many of the tyrants, you're not going to run into too many of the crazy buzzsaw things, you know, that look like Crank from Turtles. But on Vergil Must Die, you're going to run into a lot of them. And as you can see just there, gravity gets me again. I cannot help but fall off when I play as this character. I love being in the air, I love doing the crazy juggles, the jump cancels, the silly moves. It's just really crazy, but the move you're going to see me doing a lot, which is my go-to damage move, is going to be the jump cancelled Y attacks into the stomp attack on the right trigger, which is a demon move. Here is, speak of the devil, here's Crank himself. So, I do not know the best way of killing this enemy, and I do apologise for that, guys. He didn't turn up until I got to Vergil Must Die, so when I was playing it and recording, I was learning too, so definitely not the best walkthrough on how to crush this guy really easily, but as you can see, I'm spacing his projectiles, I'm using the heavy attacks, and he does go down quite quick when you focus on him. One good move is the stomp against him, another one when you're on the ground, it's the demon arms. They're all really powerful, they're all really good moves, but as it stands, that enemy is pretty challenging with Vergil, because I don't know the go-to move that really fucks him up. Because before, we would just use Arbiter and smash him with Arbiter because it was so strong. But this guy, I don't know, he doesn't seem to have that kind of damage potential. He seems to be much faster and all about fluidity. And later on the playthrough on this difficulty, you're going to fight two of them at the same time. And watch this bullshit, I get stuck behind this door. That right there, guys, is gravity owning me again. But I tried to do the air dash to get back on the platform and it didn't work. But there is Shoryuken. Shout out to that guy. Still don't have the notifications off. I am so very sorry. And then this is just standard Stygians and a couple of the flying guys. And with Vergil, the flying guys are so simple. Well, they're simple with Dante as well, but this guy just destroys them. Steal the shield away from them with the heavy pull, the demon pull, and then angel pull to get to them to beat them up. These are the, can't remember the name of them, but they're the advanced versions of the things we just killed. Watch for them spinning around. As soon as they spin, you want to do an air dash to get away from the damage, and then you want to hook back up to them and start attacking again. These are the summon swords. I cannot tell you how cool and how awesome these swords are at both building style and doing damage. They're ambient damage magicians. They're so good, and I fell again. See what I mean? Too many flying enemies, too many pitfalls. I wish there was invisible walls, I really do. Like, when you give me the tools to be fast and to be fluid and to be really, you know, up in the sky, teleporting, don't give me pitfalls that come with it, because I'm just going to fall every time. And it's probably going to really frustrate some people. Because to be truthful, it frustrated me. And I'm always truthful, so I don't even know why I use that as a modifier to the beginning of that sentence. But back into the Traversal, anyhow. You're going to do a lot of this. Jumping onto fragments floating in the air. You're going to shoot platforms with phantom swords to make them visible. You're going to do a lot of hooking. It's all the standard Devilmaycry stuff. The storyline is... like, let's lay this out, shall we? Devilmaycry had a very interesting story. That right there is a checkpoint because I died. This is a tough fight, and with my proclivity towards falling, you know, those two things combined mean that I ended up dying. So just be careful on this fight, guys. There's a lot of the new Wisp guys. There's a lot of Stygians. There's just a lot of... Like, look at him. He's awkward as hell. If you can't divide and kill him immediately, he can really sneak up on you. So you want to focus on him. And the lock-on is not generous on this game. Sometimes you will go to the least threatening enemy in the entire room for no real reason. And it's very frustrating, but... The story of Devilmaycry... Ninja Theory did a more modern, more believable, you know, really rugged version of it, showing the teen angst and the rebellion side, and I think they did a good job with the vision of the story. I don't think the story itself was anything too groundbreaking. In fact, I think it was a bit shit. Some of the characters were great but underused. There was never really the feeling of an antagonist because Mundus basically did nothing except for shout and a city fell to pieces. You know, Virgil was always going to betray you because the obvious spoiler is obvious, and this was the opportunity for Ninja Theory to really make something different and unique, and this concept of Virgil being in limbo, which I know this is a different kind of limbo, but he's essentially dead and trying to make his way out of this underworld, and for better or for worse, it's changing him, and you know, making him appreciate things that he didn't see before, and it's turning him into the antagonist that we remember from the previous games. That is my phone. That was my girlfriend, if anybody wonders, and she's missing me physically, which is always a good thing to hear. But the storyline for this could have been so many great things. They had a lot of flexibility to make this deconstruction of Virgil and turning him into, I assume, Nilo Angelo if they're going to keep with the fiction. And they just kind of don't. He journeys, you know, he makes some choice decisions that definitely show the darker side in him, but for the most it's just really lazy. Like, there's Phantom Dante and Hollow Virgil. It's this inner turmoil. I mean, if you overanalyze it, there's probably lots of metaphors and, you know, social commentaries, but at the end of the day, it's just lacking. The story's not great at all. You know, there's 2 new enemies, there's 1 new boss, the story's pretty shit, a lot of recycled environments, but playing as Virgil is very fun, and it's really different to Dante. So if you enjoy Devilmaycry, the reboot, and you want more of it with a twist, I definitely think this is worth purchasing. I got it free because I pre-ordered, so I get the best of both worlds. But that creature you just saw then, that is the second of the new enemies. It's called an imprisoner, and I personally think it should be a boss because the amount of damage it takes is kind of ridiculous. It's just... I'm not going to talk about it until we're on it, so you can see... Look at that bullshit. God, I fall so much on this DLC, it's unbelievable. And it's all because I love this. I just love being in the air, jump cancelling, taking on things when... Because look at it, you feel almost immortal because you can just teleport to the next enemy, and... Like, the camera doesn't help. You can try and twist it to see if you're close to, you know, solid ground, because when you kill the last enemy, you need to be able to land or you're just going to end up, you know, in a real bad time. But that right there, that was a mistake. I meant to do the Stinger Bee, which I can honestly say, once again using a modifier that means nothing because I'm always honest, they've killed it. Ninja Theory have ruined the Stinger Bee, but it's okay, guys, because if you played Devilmaycry 4, they ruined it on there, and that was Capcom, the developers that know what they're doing with the combat. So, anybody hoping for jump-cancelled Stinger Bees to the effect of Devilmaycry 3, you're just not going to get it. You can do 1 or 2, and it's a little bit wobbly and wavy and kind of strange, and it does do a lot of damage, but I don't know why they decided to do it, and I've just fell off again. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I can't help it, guys. I'm conditioned to finish with that downward strike to, you know, just maximise on my damage, and I fell off again. Look, that is the last enemy. There's nowhere else for me to go except for falling. So yeah, this is essentially Seraphim 17's guide on how to fall frequently because of the aerial combat that I really enjoy, but I'm not very good at. But there we go again, I fell again, check me out, I'm so good. That time was not my fault, that time was a bad input. Because a lot of the times on this game, every so often when you're doing the platforming and you press to do the angel pull or the demon pull, and it doesn't quite register correctly thanks to the camera and a few other things, and it's just, you know, it's just one of those things you put up with as a gamer. But this is going to be another gauntlet fight, and immediately it's the saw guys. So that right there, as they're spawning, if you hit them with the ground stab, I think it's called Volcano, you'll knock them into the air. And I don't know if they're more vulnerable in the air, but it seems like they are, so you can try and juggle them, try and do some damage. But my advice for this enemy is Deviltrigger, Phantom Swords, Volcano, and stuff like that. It kills them so quickly. When there's just one of them, he's not too bad if you know what you're doing, if you've played and you've fought him quite a lot. But if he lands, he does so much damage. It really does. And I'm curious if Ninja Theory listened to a lot of the criticisms when they were making this DLC, or when they were balancing it, because one thing that's definitely changed, when you activate Deviltrigger, you do not get your life back like you did in the main game. And a lot of people complained that your life came back too fast on the original. And they've definitely taken this into consideration, because it's pointless now, guys. If you're using Deviltrigger to regen, you might as well just die and continue from a full life bar, because it just does not come back. And my advice for the Deviltrigger is use it for Phantom Swords, because they're fun, they're really good at damaging, and they're just more imaginative than just using the Doppelganger. If you come up against an enemy you really dislike, be it the Wisps, be it a Witch, be it a Tyrant, or an Imprisoner, feel free to use both Phantom Swords and the Deviltrigger to maximise on your damage output. But as it stands, Deviltrigger's been nerfed. The other major effect on gameplay that a lot of people are probably going to miss if they relied on it too much is the demon dodge. Vergil does not get a damage bonus from demon dodging, he doesn't even have the skill. So everything you're going to be doing is reliant on your ability to use the angel and demon powers and all their standard damage, you know, variables, which is not too bad actually. Vergil's really good at dealing quick damage, reliable damage, I would say. He's not a powerhouse like Dante was, but he's definitely got the ability to just overwhelm the enemies. And that's a good thing, because you'll notice we've got two Ragers and we've got Elite Stygians. The first Rage just got juggled. I got hit then by something. This is me jump cancelling the next guy. I got hit by something else. The fuck was that? I'm also using Deviltrigger and Phantom Swords to kill these Rages as quick as I can. One thing I'd forgotten too, because I've not played this game since it came out really. You can't change the sensitivity on the camera, so turning the camera feels like you're turning a fucking, a ship. It's like you're sailing in Assassin's Creed in those bloody aquatic missions. It just doesn't turn fast at all. But that is the end of that fight. There is the cutscene being skipped. I'm going to make a video of all the cutscenes because I've got this quite early, so I want to cover it in depth if I can. So if you're looking forward to watching the cinematics, I'm going to make a video for those. But there you go again, folks. Non-impressive stats by any standards. I did die, as I've mentioned, and I still managed to get the best rank, which definitely tells you that the ranking system is too lenient on this game. But thank you for watching. I hope it helped, and you take care now.